So far away, Lucas. What are we talking about on this episode of Wiki Wednesdays? Got it right this time.
Wiki Weekdays, Carl.
Wiki Wednesdays, yeah?
I mean, either works, I guess.
Yeah, they both work.
We're talking about a man with a cup for a head.
Cuphead. What's his mate's name? Mugman?
Mugman and Cuphead, yeah.
It should be Mughead and Cuphead, or Cupman and Mugman.
I don't mind Cupman, but Cuphead's pretty catchy.
It's a good name, but when his mate's called Mugman. Come on, it's Mughead. Anyway, so...
Mughead. That just sounds like a British insult.
He sounds like... It's like when you call someone a jeb end, isn't it? You're like, you
You
jeb.
fucking Mughead.
I'm like, you know what? Get it trending, folks. You fucking Mughead. Like, what's your favourite British insult? 'Cause mine's just got to be, you absolute jeb. I love calling someone a jeb. It's such a funny sounding word, and I think we had to do, like... I mentioned it in episode once. I was like, I'm really scared because that might be like, a word I picked up in my childhood that might have like, an ulterior, darker meaning. Apparently it just means bell end. Yeah, it means bell end.
Oh, okay.
So you're just calling someone a jeb, it's like calling them a penis.
Like, it's not a British one, but again, like, maybe we can get it going. Is like, when I was in high school,
Yes.
I just started calling people Dick Wizard.
Dick Wizard! That's a pretty good one. Calling someone a dick
And like,
wizard.
if you say it depends. That's the weird thing with British insults, is like, it depends on the tone that you use. Like, you could use that in like, man, that guy's the Dick Wizard.
Well,
or you could be like, oh, you're a fucking Dick Wizard, you bell.
Yeah, like, British people have a very uncanny ability to use insults and swear words as both pejoratives and positives. I think the best example of that is not one of the worst swear words to exist, like the C word, where it can be used as an insult or a form of affection, depending on who you're talking to, or like, the F word, where it has so much use in language where fuck off, you fucking fuck, is a sentence that makes sense.
And it's similar to the whole thing of, oh, yeah, you can pretty much talk to a British person and they could use any word to describe someone as being drunk.
Oh yeah, it's like, I forget what comedian made that observation, but you can use any word in the English language, even ones you make up, to describe being drunk or a pair of breasts. And the example, like, just think about it, Lucas, like, give me a random word off the top of your head, and I'll do it.
Branches.
So branches. Oh, check out that pair of branches over there, mate. And then, someone's like, drunks. Oh, like, what's up with Lucas? Oh, he's branched.
He's fucking branched, mate.
He's branched. It's like, there's a friend of mine who came up with a saying. Like, we were drunk one evening, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to come up with a saying. And we were like, you can't, mate. There's no sayings left. They're all been made. And we went, no, I'm going to make one. And the saying he came up with was, as the tree grows.
Okay.
And I can see that being like, a saying, a turn phrase. And I asked him, so what does it mean? He went, well, it's just, as the tree grows, isn't it? And I'm like, but what does it mean? Every phrase and turn of phrase has a meaning. And he goes, yeah, well, as the tree grows. And that was his only explanation. But he said it so much and was so insistent that it became a thing in our friend group. And a bunch of my friends have that as a tattoo. They have as the tree grows as a tattoo, including a friend of mine who's getting married soon, and that tattoo will be on display in their wedding dress.
It's similar vibes to like go with the flow.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
As the tree grows.
And we were thinking, and I was like trying to speak to him and break it down. Like, oh, do you mean it in the sense that, like, what do you want to do tonight? It's like, as the tree grows, and whatever direction feels natural. It's like, no, just as the tree grows. And he has that tattoo on his like leg or something. And he was over in a foreign country and someone shouted it at him. And he thought in his head that the phrase had managed to make it all the way over there. But it's that the person just could read English and was excited that they could read the English words on the back of his leg. And he thought for a second, not that they read the tattoo that he's got on the back of his leg, but that saying was so popular, they recognised him as its originator. Yeah, as the tree grows. Anyway, Cuphead. I've not played the game. Lucas, have you played the game?
I have played the game indeed, yes.
Yeah, I think that might be a short on TikTok, because that was a very, very wild tangent. But,
get Mughead trending.
Get Mughead trending, and as the tree grows. And getting branched. You know what? Let us know in the comments if you're getting branched this Friday night. Are you getting fucking branched? Because I've had that, we're getting off topic. Anyway, Cuphead. Cuphead is a run-and-gun shooter video game developed and published by Studio MDHR. The game follows the titular Cuphead, who in a deal with the devil after losing a game at the devil's casino. Don't gamble, kids. And if you are going to gamble, don't gamble against the guy who looks like the fucking devil. He's just asking for trouble.
Don't gamble your soul against the devil. It's a bad idea.
I will say that's a fucking baller move.
It is, yeah.
It's like there's a bit in Red Dwarf, the show, where they're talking about how hard someone is. And he goes, I saw him bet his left nut on a pair of jacks in poker once. It's like, that's a bet.
That is.
He's questioned to repossess the souls of runaway debtors as a payment for Cuphead's debt. In the game, up to 2 players control Cuphead and his brother Mugman to fight through several levels of boss fights. And it's like, it is it's infamous, I guess, for having it's bastard hard. But how do you feel about that descriptor? Like, do you feel
it is
holds
indeed
up
bastard
to the
hard.
Reputation? Okay.
It's just bastard hard.
I wasn't sure it was one of those things where it's difficult, like Dark Souls, people say, oh, it's really hard. It's like, no, it just requires a very specific way of playing, and it's more about memorization than it is like any inherent difficulty. So is Cuphead is just difficult.
But it's difficult in a fair sense of you can learn every single boss's patterns, and the difficulty with Cuphead is a lot of 2D boss fights in that nature might have a set pattern, but it's completely random. In Cuphead, of the order in which they will attack is not set.
Yeah, so you're rewarded for you need to fully memorize everything the boss can do, or to get very lucky. So the game's creators, brothers Chad and Jared Moldenhauser, took inspiration from the rubber hose style Golden Age American animation and the surrealist qualities of Disney animation. And that's one thing I will say: the game looks incredible. Every frame is just like a masterpiece.
Every frame is a painting, quite literally.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those we'll get to it, but it was previewed years before it came out at E3. I think it was on Xbox's showcase, and people are immediately like, wait, what's that game?
What the fuck is this?
It was in a montage. It's like, what was that one?
I think the only time that's ever happened to me, because I remember watching that preview, and I'm not interested in the style of game, but I do remember seeing that clip you're talking about, and being like, the fuck is this? It looks so different, and it looks so accurate to what they're trying to replicate and emulate. And the closest I've ever been from that moment is, I don't even know the name of the game. But again, I was watching a preview showcase at E3 or something, and it's that game where you take a photo of something and then step into the photo. Do you know the perspective puzzle solving one?
Yes, yeah.
And I don't know what that game is, but every time I saw a preview, I'm like, the fuck is this? This looks incredible. And bringing it back to Cuphead's look and its play style, I consider it to be the other side of the coin that Metal Slug exists upon. Because Metal Slug is often held up as the absolute just top tier in terms of sprite animation and sprite work.
Yeah.
Well, it is just a masterclass in sprite work. And again, every single frame of animation is a fucking work of art. And some of my favorite animations in video gaming exist within the context of Metal Slug. Just even the breathing animations of all the characters.
And then they've got that Metal Slug Tactics or something coming out soon, and that trailer looked gorgeous.
It's one of the best looking things ever. Every now and again on Reddit, you always get that picture of the crab tank from the first game. Of why do they not keep making smash? Because it's fucking difficult to make something that looks and feels that good to fight. And do you have a favourite animation from that game?
No, not specifically.
Do you not have a favorite? Mine is when you turn into a mummy and you crouch and you just collapse into a pile of bandages. I fucking love that one. Or the one where you are a zombie and you do the special beam attack and it's just roar. It's the big screen clear zombie breath. And then it potentially has one of my favourite sound effects in the game, which is when you get a rocket launcher, but the guy for some reason rocket launcher. Why does he say it like that, Lucas? Why?
Because it's memorable, Carl.
Why are there more vowels in that word than I ever knew existed? Rocket launch. There's no way to mispronounce that word any harder than that voice actor did.
Rocket launcher.
He's great. I love it. Rocket launcher. What's your favourite weapon in Metal Slug, and why is it the shotgun?
I was gonna say, from what I remember, the shotgun, but I have definitely not played Metal Slug near as much as you have.
And that's the thing, I don't like Cuphead because it's the platforming element of it, but I fucking love the run and gun aspect of it. And that's why it was that thing of I do like run and gun games, but I'm not a big fan of platformers.
And that's the thing is, I'm one of the people that don't necessarily like the run and gun stages of Cuphead. They were put in because of criticisms that just a boss rush game would be a bit too repetitive, but kind of almost wanted the game to just be boss rush because I think it's a bit weaker on the run and gun stages.
It's that thing of like the best part of the game is the boss. Like, you know, Spider-Man, for example, Spider-Man PS4, where it's like, remember when we played through that game and every time we get to a Mary Jane section, we just head in hands and like, for fuck's sake. This brings the game to a screeching halt. And it's like, fair enough, you want variety in your game, but when the gameplay is like 10 on 10, balls to the walls action non-stop, I don't mind if that's all the game is. If it's that good, I don't care. I'll play more of it.
And that's the thing is, the game probably would have been less successful if it was just boss rush only, but I personally think that's the strength of the game, and I probably would have enjoyed it even more.
Do you have like a favourite boss? Because I love that flower. Because I say I've not played the game, but I did watch my sister play it. My younger sister's a much more hardcore gamer than me, and I think I played so I'll tell a lie, I think I played a little bit of co-op with her. Until she got annoyed with how bad I am at platforming. And then we got to that flower boss, and I remember I was just watching the flower and it kept killing me because I was just like, just dancing. I'm like, I'm going to break that out later.
Here goes.
I don't know whether it's because I really like it or because I spent so long on it.
Getting your ass kicked by it, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm a big fan of the three-headed dragon fight.
It just looks incredible. Like, just all the screenshots that are on this wiki entry, I'm like, fucking hell, this looks good. It looks like you're playing an episode of Popeye.
Yeah, it is just hands down one of the most beautiful games I've ever played.
Art style trumps everything, Lucas. Art style always, graphic. I never understood the push to make graphics more realistic. I don't care. Art style always trumps graphics every single fucking time. Even if you don't agree with that sentiment, folks at home, just think to yourself what your favourite video game of all time is, and then just go look at a screenshot of it and think about how it stands out. It's more than likely it's the art style that grabs you and the reason you have nostalgia for it.
Yeah, I know. You know, talk about a game I have nostalgia for of just The Wind Waker.
Just but it still looks incredible.
Yeah, and obviously there's the HD version, which looks incredible in a different way, but even the GameCube version with the harder lines and less bloom and stuff. It's not widescreen supported, so that is one downside, but goddamn, it looks great still.
Yeah, and I might look thinking of Cuphead now, into its art style. I compare it to Dragon Ball FighterZ, where they managed to translate something that I didn't think would ever work as a video game, because I never thought we'd be able to get a playable Mickey Mouse game. Or, in that art style, those early Mickey Mouse cartoons, and they fucking did it. It's like with Dragon Ball FighterZ. I never thought we'd get an anime game that just looks like I'm playing the anime, and it fucking works.
And at times looks better than the anime.
Anyway, we're not talking about the game. Plot. On Inkwell Isle, really. Inkwell Isle, Cuphead and his brother Mugman are two fun-loving children. They're children. Cuphead's a child.
Yeah.
But he's called Mugman. Mugman. He's not called Mugchild. Or Mug Boy.
They had to name him at birth, Carl. They were just hoping that he made it to manhood.
In their universe, I don't think you could. They live in under the watchful eye. Are you fucking kidding me? Elder Kettle.
Yeah.
Against these warnings, the brothers wander off and enter the Devil's Casino. Well, they shouldn't have been in there. Kids cannot consent. They cannot give consent. There's no way that deal would ever hold up in court. I call shenanigans on the devil.
When you tell the devil you can't let these kids into the casino, the devil just looks back like, what are you going to do?
I think, there's a lawyer out there who would. And I defer to a quote from Ghost Rider in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 when he's fighting against Phoenix Wright. And he just says, do you have any idea how many lawyers are in hell? And he says, against his warnings, Elder Kettle told them, they wander off and go to the Devil's Casino and play craps. It's not even a game of skill, a game of chance. That's the thing. Then again, I guess, when you're playing against something like the devil, chance is probably your best way to win, because the devil's not going to put his thumb on the scale, because he's the devil.
It depends what devil you're dealing with, I suppose.
Yeah, and they go on a winning streak, and the devil appears and offers to raise the stakes, and they can bet their soul against all the rich in the casino. And Lucas, in that vein, if you had to play a game against the devil, what would you pick? If you had to choose one, you had to play one game against the devil for your, your very soul, what would you pick?
Is this a devil that cheats or not?
It's a devil. It's just a devil that cheats, yeah. In typical media fashion, the devil will try and put the thumb on the scale in his favour. So for me, it'd just be flipping a coin. 50-50.
Yeah.
It's the best odds I'm probably going to get.
Fair. I was thinking like specifically games that you would play in a casino, but yeah, maybe just a rock, paper, scissors or a flip of the coin or something is probably your best bet. But I was going to say roulette because of just how much chance is involved.
Yeah, it's not technically 50-50 because it can land on 0-0, but it's as close as you're going to get in a casino setting to getting 50-50. And like when the devil cheats, it's like 50-50 is about as good as you're going to get in it. So basically, the devil just makes a deal of like collect soul contracts from his runaway debtors by midnight the next day. And Max, so they do it all in one day. They beat all them bosses in one day. The thing is as well, like I kind of wish that we could now have a TV. Have you ever seen Don't Pay, We'll Take It Away? That show about like bailiffs going around people's houses and taking the fridge. Can we get like a fictionalized version where it's like debt collectors for the devil? Being like bailiffs going around people's houses and be like, well, you promised the devil your soul, we need your soul. And then like, and just have people peeking through the window, but I'm not in. You
signed a contract, your firstborn child.
Like,
pay up, come on.
I still think my favourite episode of Don't Pay, We'll Take It Away, which is about bailiffs going around people's houses.
Please tell me it's not about a baby.
It's not about, no, it is when they go to this rich lady's house who did not pay an apprentice for work. And like the apprentice like won a court case against this person, like there were orders to pay them what they were owed. And this is one of the things, like the show is really fun to watch when it's like rich people getting forced to pay their debts.
But when it's like people that have no money and it's like, well, you're trying to just live your life and we're taking away your fridge because you lost your job. And I kind of wish there was a version of the show that's just rich people getting their comeuppance. And it's like this rich lady, and you can tell that she fucking knows what she's doing. Because like the bailiffs turn up and they're like, all right, we've got an order here to take goods in the value of what is owed to this young lady. Whose car is that? Well, that car's in my business name. You can't take that. And it's like, she fucking knows. She's been playing the system. Like, how much money? Oh, I've got no money on me. The business owns everything. So well, I pay myself in stock, so I don't have to pay tax. So the bailiffs, they sit there and they just go, all right then. In which case then, we're just going to take your fucking door. And they'll just take a door off its hinges. It's like, yes! Imagine that in like, this fictional show. People say, oh, you can't have my soul, it's out for repair. Oh, is it? I'm going to take, I don't know, your sense of humour instead. No, you can't take every left sock out your drawer. I'm going to take away your ability to play the piano. So no, not that. We've not talked about Cuphead at all, have we? This is basically a fact-themed focus. Maybe, yeah. Like I was going to say, you get like the Dice King and just be like, we're not taking away your soul, we're taking away your ability to roll the dice. We're going to take the number 4 off all your dice. And his tie. Take his tie. Take his tie. Oh, man. Not even his tie, it's cut in half. So I've always said like lengthways or horizontally? Both. Yeah, because I have said that like probably one of the most annoying things that's ever happened to me in my entire life is when I came in from a night out when I was like visiting home once and I left my shoes outside my mum's house, as you do, don't want to like trample across the floor. Woke up the next morning, go out to go get some milk. One of my shoes is gone. One. And like that to me is more annoying than taking both my shoes. And do you know why, Lucas? Because you can't do anything with one shoe, so I had to throw away the other one. So I had to throw away one of my functional working shoes, and I was like so pissed. You could hop around. You could, but when you sat there and you're thinking, what do I do? And I thought to myself, I would be less annoyed if they took both, because now I've got to throw away the other one. You've got to make an active decision. Yeah, I actually have to go to effort to make myself worse off. And that's why I like the idea of those bailiffs going out there. I'm taking your fucking fridge. And like they took one of her horses as well, which is really funny. She has all these horses. And it's like, well, you've clearly got money. Well, I've got no money. You've got a horse. Well, you can't take my horse. All right, we're taking your horse fucking carriage. We're taking every saddle you own. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what they ended up doing. And they did it purely to inconvenience this lady. So she paid this apprentice what she's owed. And it's like, that show's great for doing that. When you have these rich fuckers trying to like get out, weasel out of paying their debts. And so, okay, then we're just going to take your fridge. Anyway, Carl, tell me about the development of Cuphead. Okay, so Cuphead, developed by MDHR, a Canadian indie game development studio consisting of 2 brothers, the Moldenhauer brothers. Additional animation works contributed by Jake Clark, with programming by Tony Coccoluzzi. Its development began in 2010. 2010. 2010. This is like, a proper,
passion project here, isn't it? It says they watched many early Golden Age cartoons, which they describe as happenstance based on GIFs and VHS compilations. It's amazing how the things you do as a child, the media which you're nostalgic for, can influence like your adult life this much. Because like, imagine if they just got like, I don't know, like what would be like the worst possible thing they could have done to base the art style on? Like, do you know if they got like cheap knockoff like, cheap knockoff like Chinese Disney bootlegs?
I was gonna say, yeah, like if they found like not, He-Man, but like the rip-off low-quality version of He-Man, like something like that, yeah.
No, do you know what it'd be? Biker Mice from Mars.
You leave Biker Mice from Mars out of this.
No, because that's it. Like, how many fucking rip-offs of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were? And that's the most blatant one. Because they basically ripped off, like, they basically took every word from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and just ran it through a fucking thesaurus.
Yeah, they did.
So now it's like...
Then there's like Street Sharks and stuff like that as well, yeah.
Street Sharks are all... That's the thing, I have a nostalgia for that, but if they was like... If the game Cuphead borrowed like the fucking Biker Mice from Mars aesthetic, and they were like, yeah, we were really obsessed with that game, and we went to extreme efforts to emulate that art style, it looked like shit. They attempted a game in the style of Cuphead in 2000, but lacked the tools to continue. That's kind of amazing, isn't it? Like, these cartoons were like the 1930s, and it took almost 100 years to manage to replicate that style in another medium. It's really interesting.
With such painstaking care, yeah.
Yes. So the brothers tried to continue following the success of the indie game Super Meat Boy, which was released in 2010. That character became Cuphead, descended from a 1936 Japanese propaganda animated film featuring a character with a teacup for a head. They emulated the animation because they found it strange. Right away it stuck. Before settling on him, the main character was created around 150 different characters, including a kappa wearing a top hat and character with a plate or a fork for a head. So I like the idea they kind of had an idea there of like it's character with inanimate object for head, but they settled on the teacup. And they have a background in graphic design and hand drew all of the animations as well as painting the background using watercolors before colorizing in Photoshop. And oh my god, the frame rate is 60 frames a second. So that means every frame. That's crazy.
Because, Carl, I believe the game runs at 60 frames a second, but the animation doesn't. Is that right? Does it say?
Yeah, it says here that animation runs at 24 frames per second, which is the standard American film. Oh my god, they deliberately included human imperfections in their art design.
Yeah.
So that's like in, Enter the Spider-Verse, where they animate everything off frame.
Yeah, because they did while Miles is learning, they had him on doubles, which means he was at 12 frames a second. Doesn't look as smooth until that scene where he works together with Peter and starts becoming in sync, and they
and it's just like that. That's something I would have never thought of. Mm-hmm. It's like, Joe, when you see something about the creation of a piece of art or media, and you just go, I'd have never thought of that, and then you realise that's why that's why these people are doing this, because they had the creativity to come up with that solution.
And that's why Cuphead is so outstanding and so incredible to watch, because they took all of that time and effort to put in those details to make it, from an 8 or 9 to a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, they went that extra, the extra step they took to not just hand paint and animate everything, but then to go, well, if we want to authentically replicate the look of the media in which we're influenced by, we need to take a step back. So they could have made it look perfect, but if it looked perfect, it wouldn't look right.
It wouldn't have looked like a 1930s cartoon that way, yeah.
No, because they weren't perfect. And it's I know we mentioned, graphics are always trumped by art style, but when it comes to graphics, it is those imperfections that started to make me believe that they're getting to a point where they're, uncanny valley. Like that legendary tweet from that guy, that Aloy, in the Horizon sequel. Joe, she's got peach fuzz and mottled skin and stuff.
Do you mean she's got hair like everybody?
Yeah, like a human. But those imperfections on her skin, the things that they couldn't replicate using earlier technology, and the fact that they included those imperfections actually makes it look more realistic. And it's weird. It's a weird thing to think about, isn't it? It having those imperfections somehow makes it more perfect.
Well,
because if it had been
life
perfect,
and
it wouldn't
people
look right.
aren't perfect, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. It's that's the reason the uncanny valley exists, isn't it? Humans don't naturally looking at things that are perfect because human beings aren't. And it's why asymmetry is attractive to humans, because people with perfectly symmetrical features look wrong.
It looks weird if someone's got a perfectly symmetrical face, yeah.
And that's why you can usually tell when someone's got plastic surgery. Like, even if it's seamless, there's still something about the way they look that is off.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't quite place it. It's because they look too perfect. And it's similar. And the fact they notice that in regards to the frame rate of the game they're making, it's blowing my mind. And we can't even go further in because we spent too long talking about fucking devil bailiffs. So I guess we've got to cut it short here, folks. But I'm really sorry if people want to hear us talk about... Maybe we'll turn this into a focus. Oh shit, we didn't even get to the end of the recording.